All right, welcome everyone. My name is Brian Sons. I'm your host. We are live on the air. This is Onyx Knights Paranormal Radio. I've got a great show lined up tonight. I've got Bill Brock from Monsters Underground. And also, we're being joined by Jeremy Bates, who is also from Monsters Underground. You guys might remember it. It was a paranormal show cryptid show that came on last year. Now they're going with in a new direction. They have their new Team Rogue. And we're going to get to the bottom of what exactly Team Rogue is, and let Bill and Jeremy fill us in on that and what direction they plan on taking. These guys are real good friends of mine. Bill and I talk all the time. These guys are like brothers to me. It's going to be a good, fun show. And I'm kind of doing a split show tonight. The second half is going to be my good friend Thomas Marcum from the Crypto Crew. Thomas is a good friend of mine, been friends for a while. He was the one that was actually responsible for enhancing the video that I caught last summer of what we believe to be two Sasquatch. We're going to talk to him. It's just going to be a great show, as always. And enough of that crap. We're going to bring them on and get the scoop. Hey guys, you're on the air.
Hey, what's
up, Brian?
Man?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Actually, I couldn't be better, to be honest with you. Got a lot of good things. Bill knows most of it. Got a lot of good things going on in the background that I can't really discuss at this time, but man, it's going good.
Nice.
And
nice.
What about you guys? You guys have been super busy.
For us. Yeah, I've been super busy, and so has Jeremy. Man, he's been working hard down there, and so have I, definitely. We got a bunch of really cool stuff coming up, though, man. We got some pretty neat shit coming up for Team Rogue. Team Rogue, you were asking about that a few minutes ago. What it is basically is when Monsters Underground kind of quit filming for a while, we wanted to keep chasing stuff. You know, we wanted to keep after this and keep trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So I had always had kind of this group up here in Maine, and we just decided to expand it, you know, and we brought in all the guys from Monsters Underground, and we just keep on keeping on and doing just basically the same thing we were doing before. But Team Rogue has an event coming up where Jeremy Bates is going to be wrestling. He's going to be wrestling some ex-WWF guys up here in Bangor. And Jeremy, you were a wrestler before, though, right?
Yeah, I wrestled Bobby Blaze from the WCW back, 10, 15 years ago. He actually trained me in wrestling, and I've had 15, 20 matches or so. So it's just something I've always loved and just played with the whole time I was, I was fighting professionally. I would always, do a couple of these local shows, and I even was on a couple of big shows. I wrestled Buff Bagwell in Huntington, West Virginia, and I wrestled a couple of the other guys from the WWE, remember the Maestro and a few of the other big name guys. I got to get in the the ring and throw those guys around, which was really cool.
That's awesome, man. So, do you guys rehearse that stuff beforehand, or you just go in there and go for it?
No, man, that stuff's real.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's real.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
I know he's full of shit. I know he's bullshit.
That's real. That's my story, man.
I know. Yeah. Okay. I know better than that because.
But really, that takes some athleticism, dude. You guys are throwing each other up in the air, doing suplexes and shit, dude. That looks like it hurts.
Yeah, I was I've been a professional boxer for 15 years, and I've been boxing for I don't know how long. Seems like my whole life. But the worst injuries that I ever had was from professional wrestling, and it was just freak accidents, things that you do, and you usually in wrestling you end up doing it to yourself. And, you know, when you make a mistake, you know, sometimes you'll hurt the other guy. But, you know, in my case, I was lucky to just hurt myself.
You have to land just right, and you have to know what the other person is doing. And I watched so much on it. Like when they pick them up in those suplexes and things like that, a lot of people don't realize that the person being picked up has his hands on the thighs of the other person, helping him to be able to do that. It's
I mean, everybody who says that stuff's fake or whatever, you know, let me body slam you on the concrete and see how well you like that. You know, that stuff. You know, there's some.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you know, but
man, like
a lot of
like
that
when you hurt
stuff hurts.
Like when you hurt your arm there, man, you were like, you picked that dude up on your shoulder, man. You like power slammed him. Like, I don't know how you continued to pick the dude up in the first place with your arm like all jacked up, but like, dude, like, it had to hurt that guy, you know. I don't know, that shit like that. It just blows me away how you guys like are able to do that week in and week out.
One-arm power bomb.
Oh, that was badass, dude. That was awesome. I loved it.
What the hell? I missed it. Hey, you got to send me this, Jeremy.
It's on YouTube. You can check it out. There's a series on there called Being the Beast, and it shows. There's a video on there about actually Mickey Fisher, the guy who is doing Extant on CBS. He was the producer of Being the Beast, so you can check out those videos on YouTube. You know, that's one of Mickey Fisher's first things.
You don't know.
You know, series
about me. You don't know specifically. You don't know specifically because I'm on YouTube and I typed in Being the Beast and it comes up with some other crap.
Yeah, Being the Beast. If you go to my website on YouTube, it's Beast0107. There's all kinds of videos on there, and that video is The Injury. That's what it's called. And you know, it shows the whole wrestling match, and it shows me, you know, tear my bicep, and then you do a one-arm powerbomb with a guy who weighs, 215, 220 pounds.
That was awesome. Man,
I could take you.
You know, I get paid to fight.
You can talk all that shit on the show, but yeah.
I get paid to fight. If somebody makes me do it for free, they're really getting an ass whip.
Oh, I know, man. I know, man. Hell, you and I have talked before about you showing me a few things.
Man, I was thinking like you, Brian.
I'm just messing with you.
I was thinking like you, you know.
Go ahead, Bill.
When I first met Jeremy, like, you know, me and Jeremy both were like super competitive, you know, and like I don't know why that is, but we're both real competitive, and so I had to try to like slap box him because I thought I could, you know, hold my own. Oh my God!
Yeah, you told me
to death, man. I thought he was going to kill me. It was terrible. Like, he's skilled, you know, like I do all right fighting, you know. I've never really been beat up.
I'll tell you what, I'm just glad he's my damn friend. You know?
Right? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But obviously, you know, we're excited about him coming up to Bangor. You know, it's going to be awesome to see a member of Team Rogue up there wrestling in front of, you know, thousands of people. It's going to be friggin' sweet.
Well, you know me, man. I'll share, you know, anything that you put out there. And Team Rogue, you guys, where do you guys plan on going with Team Rogue and the direction? Because I see now the listeners don't know. I know a lot of this, but Bill, explain to them what your plans are.
Well, our short term, well, I guess it's kind of long term. Over the next year, well, on May 1st, we're going to be heading down to Creature Weekend in Salt Fork, Ohio, and we are going to be speaking there. So all of Team Rogue will be there for that. And while we're there,
are you guys going to stay?
If I don't fight, Bill, don't forget about that. You know, that's still a possibility. I've been training. I'm supposed to have a fight in Huntington, West Virginia, May 1st. I've been in training for about 6 weeks now. So, you know, there's some problems with the promotional side of it right now. But hopefully that's going to get ironed out, and I'll get to fight May 1st, and then we'll head up to Creature Weekend after that.
Yeah.
Well,
so
do you think you guys are going to be there? Do you think you guys are going to be there for the Ohio Bigfoot Conference? Because I want to get you guys together with my guys from Creature Replica, because they're going to be there. I don't know, excuse me, I don't know if Jeff is going to make it to the Creature Weekend. I'll ask him, but I want to get you guys in with them and to meeting Jeff and all the benefits that has in store.
That is, I think, 2 weeks after our weekend that we're going to be there. And like I was saying, we're going to be leaving from Creature Weekend and shooting a feature film. And we're going to be shooting a feature film with a guy named Corey Norman. He's actually an Emmy award-winning producer. And he's done stuff for the History Channel and stuff. So we are going to be hooking up with him later on this week and planning everything and getting the ball rolling even more than we already have, which is not much more. Like, we've been doing a ton of work. But anyway, we're going to be shooting a feature film on Mothman. And, yeah, man, we're going to head to Point Pleasant and do, I hope, a public hunt.
You guys are all over Mothman. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a really awesome story. It's right in Bates' neighborhood, man. And so, yeah, he lives right on the Ohio River, not far from it, right?
Well, not everybody has the balls. Not everybody has the balls to go after Sasquatch. So.
Hey, listen,
I'm joking.
I'm going to get back to it. If you guys need anything, I'm sorry I got to roll. But
that's good.
If you guys need, it was great talking to you guys. I have to head back.
Jeremy, man.
Well,
thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Much love, bro. You take care of yourself.
All righty.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, man.
No, I was just...
Team Rogue has got a lot of stuff.
You know me. I got to mess with you, Bill.
Yeah. Team Rogue has got a lot of stuff going on, dude. I'm super stoked about it, and we've got some Comic Cons that we're doing up here in Maine. That Bangor Comic Con, like I said, is coming up. And then I was talking to a couple guys here that asked me to be part of what they're doing as well. So we got a ton of cool stuff going on, man. It's awesome. And what that all does for us is it opens up the opportunity to meet more people. And the more people I seem to meet, the more really awesome sightings I get. And the more sightings I get, the more time I get to go spend in the field. So, like, man, this has just been awesome. Like, the whole experience is just great. I love it.
Well, let me ask you something. Is there anything that you could share with us as far as reports go, or just things that you've experienced or discussed with people?
Yeah, I don't know. My brain is like stuck on Mothman lately, because I've been researching the thing so much, and all I can really think about is like the Ohio Valley, the Mound Builders, and Mothman. That's where my brain is right now. And last time we did the Crypto Paranormal road trip and took off down to southern Ohio, we went to a couple places. We went to a place called Fort Ancient, which is absolutely an amazing Indian mound structure. Then we went to the Great Serpent Mound, which was really cool as well. But on the way back, we stopped this place called the Ringing Rocks in Pennsylvania. And that place was really odd. All the places I've ever been in my life, it had to be one of the most odd places I've ever been. It's known for having a lot of weird, like, paranormal UFO type things happen there. And I don't know, man. I can believe that if an extraterrestrial was looking for an odd place, this place would qualify, man, because basically what it is it's about 300 yards or so of these magnetic boulders, and they're made out of like iron, aluminum, and I think magnesium, if I remember correctly. And basically, if you hit them with a piece of like iron or something, these things ring. These rocks like emit this high-pitched ringing sound. And in these rocks, man, there's like these different kind of carvings and stuff. Like there's like what seems to be like hundreds of half circles carved in the sides of these rocks. And
Wow.
AJ and I, we saw that, and we were just like, what the heck, like, why are these this way? It's not natural, it's not erosion. And AJ ended up stumbling on these rocks that were carved in a really weird way. So, like, the side of this rock was facing the south side, so it's going to get light all the time. And so,
yeah, for those that don't know, AJ Marston is also a Team Rogue member, right? I tried to get him on. Yeah. He had some other things that he had to do.
Yeah, AJ is like my right-hand man, like he lives here in Maine with me, and he pretty much does everything that I'm doing,
I like him a lot. Yeah, I like AJ a lot. He seems like a really great guy.
Yeah, and he went to school for history. He was a history major, so he's really good at history and whatnot. So anyway, AJ found this rock, man. It was like facing east, like a big flat rock, and so he got sun all the time because it was facing east. And on the face of this rock were these arcs like carved into the rock, so it looked like a rainbow carved into this rock. Right. And in front of this rock was like a flat rock, right? And so immediately, because we had just left the Great Serpent Mound, we remembered what that mound looked like and the curves that were carved in there to follow the path of the sun. And so we immediately were like, this thing looks like the Serpent Mound. So AJ stuck his knife vertically on that flat rock in front of these carved things that look like a rainbow. And I'll be darned if the sun didn't follow those arcs. So what we found, essentially, was proof that whoever did these was completely aware of how to use the sun in order to tell time. And most likely they were using this carving in order to figure out when to plant crops, when to harvest, when certain times occurred, because that's what they used.
There's so much. It's amazing how much, just throughout history, how much significance the sun plays, just in history in general, particularly ancient history. It's just amazing.
Well, yeah, they didn't have PlayStation. All they had to do was look up. And
right.
That was fascinating for them. Like this stuff was moving, and they didn't understand it. So they spent a lot of time documenting it and learning how to use it. And so that, I think, is why you see so much focus on the stars, because, it's fascinating, because, if you think about it, if you didn't really understand what they were, it would be just kind of like so cool that these things just move through the sky. You'd be kind of blown away by it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. I love looking at the pictures you guys take, and I'm really anxious to see more pictures and more videos of these places that you all are going.
Yeah, man. That's really exciting too, because this summer we're going to do this Crypto Paranormal Road Trip movie, and we're going to try to do another one where we involve people, involve different groups and go there and really spend some time. We tried to do that on the first one, but man, we had our car stolen, and then Jeremy crashed, and it was crazy.
Right.
So it made it to where we weren't able to go and visit the people that we wanted to go visit, which was really kind of a bummer, because there's some guys in Pennsylvania. I believe it's called the Pennsylvania Research Group. They were super, super nice, man. I mean, I really hope I can hook up with those guys and go hang out with them, because I was kind of bummed I wasn't able to, but it was just bad circumstances. We had just like one crazy thing happen after another. It was nuts, man.
And that's when, I mean, isn't that when you met my guest from last week, Trapper?
Oh, dude, Trapper, yeah, man. He's like the coolest guy ever. Like,
oh, I love him to death, man.
Man, TV doesn't do that man justice. He honestly is probably one of the coolest people I've ever met. And he's just down to earth. He's just a normal guy, and I really like him, obviously. He's he's a super cool guy.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell the listeners last week. I talked to him just like you. You know, you and I talk a lot, you know, away from the show and in private and everything. And I talked to Trapper and them also like that. That's what I was trying to convey to the listeners, you know, last week. I know him away from all this. And exactly what you said is correct. He is the coolest person one of the coolest people that you ever meet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Aside from Bill Brock, you know, he's super cool too.
Right. I'm awesome. I love it.
Let's talk about if we can.
Like Trapper. Oh, Trapper had this gun, dude. I wish I could remember what it was. He had this crazy gun. It was like, I don't know, it was like a friggin' rhinoceros gun or something. It was giant.
No shit.
Oh my God, it takes like 2 men and a boy to pick the thing up. And had it in this giant gun safe that you wouldn't even believe. Like, it was awesome, dude. And he let me, like, check it out and, like, you know, kind of, like, point it or whatever. It was awesome. He has a really cool couple guns, man. He is what he plays, you know. He's an awesome hunter. When you go into his house, he has, like, all of his walls right full of deer heads, man. And like, I think he had, like, some kind of goat head or something. But these are big deer mounts, man. They're all, like, just massive deer. Well, you know, that's the thing with Trapper.
If he lets you in, he genuinely cares, man. You know.
Oh yeah, I think he's been like set some records in West Virginia for like the biggest bucks killed or something. I know he's killed some really big deer. I don't know if he got records, but I think he did.
Yeah, I think he told me something along those lines in a private phone call that we had. Let's talk a little bit, Bill, if we can. I don't know if you want to or not. The umbrella factor that you mentioned to me.
The what?
The umbrella factor that you mentioned to me about Team Road.
Well, you're going to have to help me, man. I'll talk about anything you want to. What are you talking about?
You remember whenever you said that you want to make Team Road kind of like an umbrella and incorporate other teams and other groups into that?
Oh, yeah, I got what you're saying now. Yeah, man, like, you know, I'd like to hopefully get some groups affiliated with us, because I think that sharing information is going to be the only way we're going to be able to get ahead in this.
That's right.
Whatever it is, what we're doing, you know, in this quest for the truth.
Well,
we're going to have to share information.
Yeah, when I first made Onyx Knights Paranormal, that's kind of what I was wanting to do, and it is kind of what I did, and that's why I let anybody who post anything they want, you know, over in the group, because I look at it like, and I've said this many times before, the more people we have working together, the bigger the net that we cast. You know, to get the answers that we're all looking for. So yeah, I'm totally down with that. I mean,
you know, we and I want to be picky about, you know, who we bring in, because I want them to be serious about it. I want to have like once a month Google, like once a month Google Hangout sessions where we can talk about what we found that month, you know, and see if there's any kind of patterns developed between what we're seeing here in Maine and what you're seeing where you are, you know. And that's how we're going to be able to predict the movements of this thing, is looking for these patterns, and these patterns are going to develop over, you know, the country, and we're going to see it happen, and we're going to be able to interpret what they. I
mean, you know me, I'm all for being involved. You know, I'm all for helping out as much as I can. You know that. There's some other things that you and I are going to be. I mean, I don't want to go into details about it, but you and I are going to be working on some other things together in the future too, right?
Yeah, you know, you were talking about. I was trying to get you to help us with some artwork, man. I want to. You know, you're a talented artist, and I would like to see you hook us up with a couple cool things. Yeah.
Yeah. I was supposed to, and I got to apologize to you, and I'll do it here on air. I was supposed to get to work on some of that this week, but it's been kind of chaotic, and I found out that Tuesday, Melissa and I are going to be filming an interview for a movie. So that's kind of taken, that's a once in a lifetime experience that I'm looking forward, that both of us are looking forward to.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I didn't forget about you. I wanted to tell you I didn't forget about you.
Oh no,
you know me better than that.
Like,
I got it.
yeah,
I got you covered.
Deal. Yeah, that stuff's not a big deal, man. Yeah, that can happen anytime. But prep for that interview. Go out there and do the best you can.
Yeah, and Melissa and I, we've really been kind of collaborating a lot, and there's going to be some books coming from both of us in the near future. I won't go into too much detail right now, but so far we have 4 that we're going to be writing, and of course illustrating myself.
I
So
think
that
funny,
saves
dude.
us money there.
I think you're funny. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there's going to be 4 books, and they're going to be 19 chapters each.
Well, I'm not telling what the hell they're about. I'm not telling what they're about, and detail would be telling the whole damn story and giving it to someone else to take credit for.
Right.
Dork.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Not going to go into detail, but
you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to give anything away.
Yeah.
Other than that, you got to call me out on the air. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm going to remember that.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm glad.
But
I know that you've really been working hard, and you're trying to make this into a career, and you want to be in media. And that's cool. Keep working towards what your dream is. Okay, we got a question, and I asked you this in private, before we came on the air, and someone in the chat room asked, are there any more Monsters Underground episodes coming? We don't know yet. That's just the honest truth. My contract ends in about another 2 weeks, so I will know for sure in 2 weeks. That's the facts of it. And definitely let me know, and I'll put the word out. I'll make a post about it or whatever I got to do, man. Yeah. For me, TV is TV, but for me, my passion is really going out and finding out if these cryptids exist. And at the end of the day, truth be told, it's tough to do that on a television show, And I want to go and do this for real and shoot what I'm doing like a documentary style thing, because it's tough to go out with a whole production crew and chase down an elusive beast such as Sasquatch.
Yeah. Like Les Stroud, that's why I envy what he's doing. And you and I talked during the week, and you suggested that I do the whole documentary style thing too. And that's what that's what I hope to do.
Exactly, because the only way we're going to be able to actually chase down a cryptid, period, no matter if it's Sasquatch, Dogman, whatever it is stealth. I think being stealthy and a lot of people think that you have to acquire trust with a lot of cryptids such as Sasquatch. Even Les Stroud, you mentioned him. He also believes that you can build trust with these creatures by going there, consistently.
I believe that too.
Yeah, I
watched this show last night. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
I don't. I don't think that these creatures are going to trust humans at any point in time. I personally don't. I want some. I
wouldn't use trust.
Yeah,
I wouldn't use the word trust. They may get a little bit more comfortable, but I wouldn't go as far as saying trust. In other words, like my area, I've been going back there for so long. that it's almost like they're used to me, to where, when I first started going back there, there was a lot of aggressive behavior, a lot of scare tactics, where now when I go back there, I know they're there, I know they're around. I get noises, and, when I'm looking at a deer, a log slams to the ground behind me, or I get pelted in the back with something, I know they're there, but there's not as much aggressive. It's almost like they're kind of like, oh, it's just this guy. We know he's nothing to worry about. That type of experience going on. See, as far as trust, with them coming up and bringing up their babies and singing "Kumbaya," that's just bullshit. Anybody that claims that is just full of shit.
Well, man, I just don't know. Like, I have my own personal beliefs, but I have an open mind, and I am more than willing to go to a habituation site and learn what they've learned. I am more than open-minded, man. Like, I would love to go to
and you and I have talked about this. What gets me about the habituation sites is if they're having that close of an encounter with a Sasquatch on a regular basis, it's nothing for them to sneak out a cell phone, catch a picture. We would already have the proof that we need if that was the case. And when you ask these clowns, okay, you're having picnics with Sasquatch every day, where's your proof? Oh, well, I don't have proof. Or, oh, I want to protect them. Or, oh, there's always some bullshit excuse. And that's, I mean, I got to call it how I see it. It's just all bullcrap,
Right. Myself and Matthew Johnson have kind of got into it online a couple times, kind of about that. And I think that he takes me wrong. I'm not very good at, like, typing what I'm thinking. I don't know why. I'm just not very good at that. And so, like, yeah, like, I don't mean anything when I'm telling him this, like, I want to believe what he's doing, and I want him to trust me enough to, like, let me check it out and understand that I'm not, I don't know, man, like, I am open-minded. Like, if somebody is telling me that they have Sasquatch coming down and eating peanut butter out of peanut butter jars in their backyard, well, take me there. Let me try to get documentation of these things eating peanut butter out of the peanut butter jars in your backyard. Let me go there and try to get some type of DNA from this thing.
Show me the proof.
If this is happening, let's prove this thing is real, man. Let's get DNA. Let's get this stuff sent off to Dr. Todd, one of the only guys that probably, really know what they're doing.
Todd Dissertel?
Yeah, man. Send it to him because, like, if you can prove to Todd Dissertel that Sasquatch is real, well, he's going to yell from the highest mountain that Sasquatch is real.
Oh, of course.
Because right now he hasn't got that proof. He hasn't got anything to say that Bigfoot is a real biological creature living in the woods. Right now it's...
Well, everybody wants a piece of this Bigfoot pie. It's like I've told you, I've told Trapper, and I told everybody, I tell them, hey, you're more than welcome anytime to come on down to my area. I can't guarantee, like you have some ass clowns that say, oh, I guarantee you're going to have a Sasquatch. No, I can't guarantee that you're going to have one because I can't predict where they're going to be at any given time. But you're going to have a great experience. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to have fun. And you may come out of it with hearing, 90% of this is audio. It's going to be, you're going to hear them. Long before you'll ever see them. So, I can tell you that the chances of you hearing something are great. I can't say, oh, I guarantee you they're going to have a Sasquatch encounter, and I guarantee this and this. No, I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, I know they're out there, so I'm more than willing to say, hey, come with me, come help me get closer to.
Yeah, exactly. If I ever thought that I was really on a pod of Sasquatches, I would call in people. Like, my first call would probably be to Jimmy Smith, and I'd be like, Jimmy Smith, dude, like, I can prove they're here. Come on down, and he'd come on down, and we'd put a posse together, and we'd go get the thing. You know, and when I say go get it, I want DNA. I don't want to harm the thing. I want to prove that they're real so we can get some kind of protection for them so they don't get shot and killed. I mean, that's truly what I'd like to see happen. If these things are real, and I think they are, we need to get some type of DNA proof, and we need to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're out there. And once we do that, we can keep them from getting shot and crap by hunters.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, they've existed for this long a time. Do they really need our protection? You know, maybe we need to learn from them.
Absolutely, dude. Think about what, you know, you asked that, but you don't really think about the whole picture, Brian. 200 years ago, the United States was basically not that many Native Americans living here. I mean, there were Native Americans living here, but not that many. Not like it is now. This country has exploded in population over the last 200 years. I mean, just blown up. So, like, if you think about what we've done to the population of Sasquatch, we've pushed them back into, like, the northeast corner, like here in Maine. We've pushed them in the northwest corner. You know, and they've basically found these little places to hide because our population has pushed them into that. So as we push them out into these deep parts of the forest, we're going to continue to run into them more and more. And as we run into them, people are going to be armed to the teeth, and they'll just shoot the thing. So the more we...
Right. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. These are just the questions that I have to ask for the listeners.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I just started rambling, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right, man. I understand what you're saying completely, and agree with you. You know, I've got to keep the show. It's a show. I got to keep it going. I got to ask the questions that the listeners would be asking. But you know, I can see what you're talking about. You know, down here where I live, I mean, there's just woods everywhere. A lot of people wouldn't think that, but believe me, there is. And I see where you know, now, whereas there's a lot of people in the United States, most people have kind of boxed themselves into cities. You know, and just recently are people saying, you know what, I want to live more rural. Excuse me. I want to get out there.
I can't say that either. And that's one word I can't say, dude. Like, rural? How do you say that?
It's a weird-ass word, isn't it? It's like coupon.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's a crazy word, too. God. People are going to think we're on something.
Yeah, it's a bug deal. You know, I'm sober. I'm sober right now as the day I was born, so they can't blame me for that.
Yeah, and you know what? I got to thank you for calling in, seriously, because you know, you mentioned to me that you're not feeling well and you're coming down with something, and so I really appreciate you calling, and Jeremy as well. You know, Jeremy was in the middle of eating dinner, and
yeah, no problem. So, I'm definitely, I think I've got the flu or something. You know, I've kind of felt like I had a fever and been pretty sick for the last few days, but you know, you just keep moving on, man. You can't just like hold up in the bed and quit living. You got to keep going.
Oh, that's right. I've got another question for you, Bill, from the chat room. It says, does he think some DNA that people/groups have submitted have been stifled, that they didn't tell the truth of the results, that they don't want the true nature of an unknown species known? In other words, do you think there's a cover-up?
I don't think that there has been a proper DNA examination to date that I know of, if that makes any sense. Everything that I personally know of that has been collected and tested has been tampered with in some sort of way. The first thing that comes to my mind is Justin Smeha. Justin, I know the guy, you know, and, you know, I like Justin. I do. I like everybody that is involved with everything that has to do with the Sierras. I like those people. But I do know that, you know, the blood on his boot was what we thought at the time, and I was kind of part of, like, the little inner circle talkings at the time, and we thought that blood on that boot was going to be a viable DNA source. And as far as I know, that boot bounced around between Derek Randall's and what's his name? Yeah, I can't remember. Bart Catino. And I don't know what order and how that really worked out. I really just don't. But ended up that boot was tested for DNA, and there was no viable DNA there. And what was collected at any point ended up being bear. So, you know, that was no good. You moved to
there's many that believe that that's the only thing he shot out there was a bear, and it all started with the blog, and it just escalated from there, and he kind of rode with it.
You know, I was part of all that, sort of, I guess. All that happened when I was kind of part of Team Taser, and Team Taser was kind of like part of that, you know, and honestly, man, like, there was not really, we kind of just was on the same train, you know, like, we were like, what is going on? None of us really got it. Like, we were all like, oh my God, is this real? Like, did Justin really shoot this thing? Because they went up, and a guy I know, Carl Wincelot, man, he was part of this too, and he and I have talked, and he told me that he helped pay for the lie detector test for Justin, and he was there when they administered it and got the results or whatever, and he said that he passed the lie detector test. He was there, he saw it, and it was legit. And so, you know, at the end of the day,
what are we thinking? Are we thinking a cover-up?
At the end of the day, Justin Smeha, he basically passed a lie detector test. He had an experience in an area where I have personal friends that I trust, including Carl Wincelot and Rose Sahibi and all those guys, man. They had experiences right there that they think were Sasquatch, and I believe those guys. And so that area, it's, I don't know, you know, like, it's really, it comes down to, do you believe Justin Smeha? You know, like, that's really
because there's so many questions. And I don't want to get sidetracked on it, but there's so many questions regarding it. Why didn't he just take the body and you know, a lot of people are like, why didn't he tie it up underneath his truck? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? Well, we'll never know those answers. Yeah, we'll never know those answers because we weren't there.
Can you imagine shooting a Sasquatch? Like you would be freaked out. Like, I would poop my pants. You know, like, I wouldn't even know what to do. Like, I would freak. You know, and
my biggest fear would be that there's more around there that are going to come after me.
Well, there was. You know, there was the babies kicking around, so I would think that there's probably another one. You know, so I don't know, but you know, as far as that DNA is concerned, that DNA was not viable. You know, they didn't get any DNA from anything from Justin Smeha other than a bear. So you go to Melba Ketchum, God bless her soul. She has caught more flack than anybody associated with anything in the Bigfoot industry.
I was reading some the other day.
You know, I don't know about that woman. I know that she has tested a lot of so-called Sasquatch DNA, and she says that she thinks that it is a human hybrid. And I hate to say it, but I am on that same bandwagon. I think that whatever this thing is probably a human hybrid of some sort. And the reason I feel way...
With what?
I've always gotten
because you know, and I'm glad we bring that up because you did some work that I've posted several times where you had the artists do a recreation of Neanderthal based on the actual skull. And man, that's some awesome work.
Yeah, that was Dread Fun. His name's Fred Dunn, actually his real name. And he's an amazing, amazing artist. And I contacted him about a month ago now to basically recreate a Neanderthal using a Neanderthal skull. And he did an amazing job. I asked him to do that because I wanted to create a video and explain my theory, because I'm excited about it. I think that that's probably what Sasquatch is a hybrid of Neanderthal and human. The reason I haven't done it yet is because I really started jumping into this, man, and started looking at the science side of this. And I got Casey from the TV show Monsters Underground to kind of help me, and he's a legitimate doctor. He's a practicing doctor. And we've been working together to research this thing and be sure that when we present this video, we are 110% right on our facts. And we are pretty well prepared to do this. But, man, the work that they're doing right now on mapping the genome...
I'll tell you that I agree with you. I mean, you're not alone in your thoughts and speculation about Sasquatch. I agree 100% with you guys. And there's other scientists that do as well.
Definitely, but the majority of people out there feel that the Neanderthal theory is not correct. They feel that it is most likely a Gigantopithecus, and I talked to Jeffrey Meldrum about that as well, and he feels that it's a Gigantopithecus. I don't think that's true, and the reason I say that is because they have recently found Neanderthal bones that were only 20,000 years ago. So 20,000 years ago, humans and Neanderthals were living together on Earth. That's not that long ago, man. That's not very long ago. And it is a fact. It is an absolute fact that every white dude on the planet has up to 4% Neanderthal DNA in him. So my question has always been, where is that Neanderthal with 4% human DNA? Well, you can't answer that. People say that they died out. Well, these things lived through the toughest times that the Earth has ever known.
Right.
They lived through the Ice Age. I mean, these things were hunting down the biggest, nastiest mammals the Earth has ever had on it, man. So how can you even really think that a Neanderthal can't put its shit together and live for 20,000 years when it's lived for God only knows how many years in the roughest conditions that the Earth has ever known? So for me, the thought
there's many that say that when we humans, if you will, came into the picture, that we basically killed out the Neanderthals. I don't think that's the case. I think more than anything, we did overpopulate them, and they went, like Sasquatch, into reclusive areas.
Yeah, because they're built to withstand those kind of environments. They were short, thick-cored, smaller-limbed animals. So when you think about it that way, you immediately say that. Well, you think
about Sasquatch up there in Maine.
Yeah, that's what you would think, but
who better qualified to be able to survive those environments out in the open wilderness than the Neanderthals that survived the Ice Age?
Right, and that's what you'd have to be, man. You would have to have your body would have to be built to withstand this cold weather, and you would have had to have evolved in it.
Okay, we've got one last question for you, Bill.
All right.
In the chat room, what would he consider the best piece of evidence for someone to try and get for the best DNA results? Hair, poop, etc. Now, we know that poop has more bacteria than DNA.
blood.
Right.
Blood is going to be the number one. And that would be like hitting the lottery. Like to get a blood sample DNA. And then after that, I would expect hair. And then after that, well, probably pretty equal with scat, because you can get basically the same amount of DNA from either one. Because it doesn't matter, I guess, really how much you get, as long as you get enough. You know what I'm saying? So, like, as long as you get enough to map it, like, it doesn't matter where it comes from.
Well, I was led to believe that, like scat, the DNA deteriorates because of the bacteria, deteriorates a lot faster when exposed to the environment because of the amount of bacteria in scat.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well.
Basically, unless you're sitting there with your hands underneath it, catching it as it comes out, your chances are going to be greatly decreased.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I completely agree, and it brings me back to when Stacy Brown and I ran into a Sasquatch or something in Florida. It was me, him, and some guys from his crew, Stevie Strings and Josh Watson, Emmett Kessler, and I think that was it. Anyway, we ran into a freaking Sasquatch, we think, man. We all saw it on our thermals and stuff. And basically it took off running, and when it did, Stacy Brown, like, saw something on the ground on his thermal, and he starts yelling, "Snake, snake," And so while he's yelling snake, I'm freaking out, because down in Florida, man, all those freaking things down there will kill you. Snakes down there play around. And so, like, then he starts going, "No, is it a bird? Like, I think it's a bird." And then he's like, "Oh, no, it's crap." So basically what happened, man, is we had a Sasquatch sighting. Like, we saw whatever it was. And it took off running, and when it did, it pooped. And you can check out this video on my YouTube channel, actually. And when we took the DNA, Stacy Brown actually collected the DNA off the wrong side of the poop. And so we made a mistake that could have been one of them.
Is there a right? Is there a right side to poop?
Yeah, man. So, like, what he says in the video was to, like, collect it off the back side of the poop, but that's not what you do. You need to, like, try to collect the cells off of the front side of the poop, because it kind of, like, works like a bulldozer, So, like, as the poo comes through, it pushes all the cells that you need to collect out on the front side of the poo, and you can kind of tell because the back side of the poop, it kind of has, like, a point to it, and then the front side is, so when you see it, you got to remember, you have to collect the DNA from the correct side. So when it comes to scat, not everyone knows that. Not everyone knows how to collect DNA off of, a scat sample.
Basically, you have to collect it where it gets pinched off.
No, you collect it from the front side.
Really?
If you collect, yeah.
Okay, because you had me backwards.
Yeah, it works like a bulldozer, man. So, like, as it comes through, it pushes all the good cells out first. So it's attached to the front side. So you have to collect the DNA off the front side, too.
I got you now.
And so, like, when somebody asks for the best way to collect DNA, I'm going to probably tell them hair, because it's really difficult to completely screw up a hair sample as long as the whole hair sample's there, including the follicle and everything.
Yeah. Now you're I don't know if we are allowed to talk about this or not, but you're planning on a book as well, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. A friend of mine, Elise, she's a writer, and she recently agreed to be help me write a book, man, because I'm not much of a writer. I can talk a lot, obviously, but I'm not much.
I know what it's going to be about, but I don't know if you are wanting to talk about that at this point in time or not. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to being involved in it.
And I thank you for everything that you've done for me and everything that is coming up that we're going to be doing together. I mean, you're a great friend, man, seriously.
Yeah, no worries, guys. No problem at all. So who are you bringing on next?
I'm going to have Thomas Marcum from the Crypto Crew. He works with the Crypto Crew. He takes reports. He follows up on reports. When I caught that video last summer that I'm sure you've seen by now, I sent it to him and we looked at it and I'm like, whoa, wait, man, there's something, and he enhanced it and analyzed it and zoomed in on it, and yeah, he's a good guy.
Nice. Where's he from?
Oh man, I want to. Don't make me lie because let me look to make sure. Well, you know what, dude, he's in queue. I'll just bring him on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey Thomas, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey man, thanks for coming on. Yeah, we've got Bill Brock on with us too.
Hello, Bill.
From Monsters Underground Team Rogue. Bill was asking where exactly are you located?
I am in southeastern Kentucky. I'm really close to the Tennessee border.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought, but I didn't want
to... Have you ever heard of Jeremy Bates?
Jeremy Bates? I can't say that I have.
Oh, yeah, I just wondered. He lives in Kentucky, too, and he's a pro fighter. He's fought, like, Vander Holyfield and Andrew Galata and all those guys.
Was that the guy that you just had on talking about the wrestling?
Yeah. Same guy.
Okay, yeah. I listened to the first part of the show, so yeah, I heard him. I don't know him, but I heard him talking there.
Oh yeah, he's kind of famous down there around Kentucky area and stuff. Most people heard of him, but yeah, he's a good dude. He's all right.
Now, Thomas, you've been doing this for a long time, right?
A long time.
You've gotten a ton of reports, and we're going to talk about that. One thing that gets me is I'll see you post stuff, and I'll be like, Thomas, why are you posting this? And then I'll go and I'll look at it and I'll read it, and you're basically ripping it apart, proving that it's a fake. And I'm like, yes, way to go. But you fool me every time.
That's called the hook.
Yeah,
hey guys,
you hooked me up.
Hey guys, I hate to cut you off, but I'm going to take off, man. And it's good talking to you, Thomas. Good to meet you. And yeah, buddy, I'll talk to you all later, man.
All right,
man.
Be good.
Thank you, Bill. You go take care of yourself.
All right, buddy. Good night.
Appreciate it. But yeah, back to what I was saying, Thomas. Man, you get me every time because I see it and I'm like, and I know that you and I have both been in the middle of discussions in other groups. Sometimes heated discussions, where people posting pictures of tree shadows and stumps and crap like that. And I'll be like, you and I have a lot in common. And then I'll see these posts, and I'm like, Thomas, what are you doing? Where are you going with this? And it intrigues me enough to where I go over, and I think that you're going to, praise the topic. And then I look, and I'm like, he's basically picking it apart and showing why it's all bullcrap. And I love that, man.
Well, I appreciate that. I try to make the title appealing enough to make you go look. And because I'm like you, a lot of these people is posting shadows and stumps and stuff like that. I just wish they would get out of the way because they're doing,
it's like
all of us injustice.
That's right, and I know you've seen me go off several times, and
oh yeah.
To me it's insulting to those of us that take this seriously and seriously want to get out there and make something of it and do what we do. It's an insult, because no wonder society at large doesn't take us seriously when we have these idiots like this doing this stuff.
Right.
Like you get, and I know you know what I'm talking about. You'll get pictures where there's 50 million circles on it, and they're all Bigfoot. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And one of them's eating a taco.
Yeah. It's like get real, you know, and see. I talk about this so much, and I've talked about it. In fact, this week with a few other people. It's total ridiculous, and you know it works for the people who never go into the woods, for the people
right.
you know who are just armchair researchers living in the city, sitting at home, don't know anything about the woods. Yeah, it works for them. It fools them. But those of us who are getting out there, we see through that crap quick as well. You know where I'm going.
Well,
and,
I know that you are kind of like me. I know that you actually get out in the mountains and you actually put time in, and you're not walking through a city park somewhere where there's other people around and things like that. I know you're more like me. You actually hit out in the mountains where there's actually nothing, and you actually.
Well, I mean, I'm in the foothills, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's
very frustrating, really.
It is. And you know, there was a time when I would go in and I'd see some bull crap and I'd say something on it, but then you get into this never-ending debate. So now it's just like I just got to look at it and I got to force myself just to shake my head and go somewhere else. You know,
I think that's some of the purpose of it. I think some of this is being done on purpose to muddy the waters and to cause debate. Some people may do it. Some people may do it to cause a debate to get views and clicks and things like that. But I think there's actually is an effort to muddy the waters and keep everybody kind of in the dark or doubting.
Well, I 100% agree. And you know, if you know, it's like that commercial where the girl has the boyfriend who's supposed to be a French model, and then he shows up, and she says, you know, if it's on the internet, if it's on the internet, it must be real, it must be true. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. You know where I'm going with this. You know, man, look, if I sat here and believed everything on the internet about Sasquatch, then I mean it's enough to drive you insane. And my best advice is
gotta laugh at it, move on.
Yeah, it's get out there and find out for yourself, because there's so many clowns, and unfortunately, idiocy is what sells. The craziness is what sells.
Well, that's what always makes it key, is that these people get a following, and that's kind of the amazing point. How do they get a following? I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I know. I know a few people, and I can name names, but I'm not going to. I don't get it. You know, these are the people that the producers of the TV shows are contacting, wanting them on, you know, because they have some wild, crazy story. And it's like, are you kidding me? But see, that's what sells. And so you have other crazies sitting back at home that see this crazy on TV, and it's just one big freaking crazy circle going on.
It's just
so
snowball.
It's bringing out more. Yeah, it's bringing out more and more and more crazies, and I could go on. You know me, man. I could go on about this forever. It's disgusting, really.
That's why I kind of stay low key. I mean, I've been offered a lot of TV shows and things like that, and I might take something if it really interests me to come along. But usually I just stay low key and do my thing, and if people like it, that's great. If not, that's okay too, because I'm doing it for my benefit as well.
Well, I mean, I'm the same way. You know, I tell people, you know what? I just ignore all the other bull, because people are like, hey man, have you read this story, or have you heard this? No, because I try to stay away from all this internet crap. You know, because ultimately anything that's written and put out there, it does not affect what I do when I go into the woods. It does not affect me having a chance of an encounter or me not having a chance of an encounter. It all boils down to me, myself, and how I conduct myself when I'm out there. All these other encounters, all this other bull crap, it doesn't matter, you know? It's all about
put
you.
The time in.
That's right. And speaking of, I mentioned earlier when I was introducing you, you
were the one last summer when I was out there and I caught that video. You were the first person I contacted and the only person I contacted in regards to it. And you saw instantly what I saw. And you went and you enlarged it and enhanced it, and you did the commentary on it, and I can't thank you enough for that. And I guarantee you, if I get anything else similar, I'm gonna contact you and I'm gonna involve you in the crypto crew. You guys have treated me real good, through all of this, and I really do appreciate that.
Well, we try to be open and fair with people. I mean, if we got somebody that's trying to pull a fast one on us, of course, we kind of, treat them a little differently, I guess, as far as getting them out of the way. But now the clip that you're talking about is an excellent clip. You can actually see the head and shoulders and the arm, and it's a good clip. And I do also know that you have caught some interesting sounds in that same area.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a good clip.
The thing that bothered me the most and I'll go over how because you and I talked. And I told you you had the whole video. I sent you the whole complete video of me walking back there, so you know exactly what went down and how it happened. But I'll go over it for listeners. I was walking back there, and what I was doing at this point in time, I was filming to show you guys, the fans, the listeners, whatever, to show you guys the area that I do my research in, the area that I've had encounters. Excuse me. So I just finished doing kind of like a commentary type thing on the camcorder, and I shut it off, and I hear a rustling in the woods. So I stop, and I look, and I don't see anything, and I may have stopped for maybe 10 seconds. And then I start walking again, and I get about 15 feet further, and I hear the rustling again, but I also hear a tree knock. So instantly I flip on the camcorder, and I'm just panning. I'm not looking, with my eyes into the woods. I'm looking at the little view, the view screen, and I'm looking down, of course, because it's the middle of summer, and I'm looking for snakes. And it wasn't until I got home that I looked at the film, and I saw that movement in there. And that's when I contacted you and said, look, man, I may be wrong, but I see movement in here. I think there's something there. Could you take a look at it for me, see what you can figure out? And instantly you said, man, there's something there. And, I look at it more and more, and I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it in the group, and I'm going to tag you in it, Thomas. The more I look at it, the more it looks like a little one coming down the tree and the big one reaching up, grabbing it, and then taking off down the ravine.
Very possible, because I thought there was actually two in the video together there. It does appear one's in a tree and then the one's walking and kind of reaches up. So, very possible.
Yeah, it's, to know, and see, here's another thing that most people don't know. I went back out there that night with my family, with my girlfriend, her 11-year-old daughter, and my daughter, who was 4 at the time. And I went walking back out there, and they all heard wooden knocks and whistles. Well, the next night, and I'll explain my thoughts behind that. The next night, I didn't go out there. And I was sitting on my porch, and I heard howls from out there. That's how close I lived to this area. I heard howls from out there, sitting on my porch. The same howls that I had the one particular night with trees shaking and wood knocks and eye shine. Same exact house. So, and this is all speculation. To me, it was like they saw me out there with my family, and the next night when I didn't go out there, they were basically wondering where I was. Because I had previously gone out there every single night. And the reason I took the family with me, because I wanted to kind of convey to them, I have a family too. I'm not going to harm your family. You don't have to worry about me, because I have one too. That's what I was trying to convey to them. And I really think that that worked. You know, and again, it's all speculation. It's all in my mind, just based on everything that went down.
Well,
that's
no, if you
the
had all
conclusion
that
I got.
up, if you had all that up, the video, the sounds, not just the sounds you've recorded, but the sound you and your family heard, and then you heard the next night, there's only really one real possible explanation for it. I mean, I doubt anybody would be out in the mountains in the middle of the night just hollering and screaming. And
no!
In the video,
believe me, no one but me goes out there at night. I can guarantee that.
And I know in the video, the figures are black, and this was in the summertime, and it was hot at the time, if I remember correctly. So I doubt anybody wearing a big black hoodie and it 100 degrees. I'm typing in the search for the Bigfoot Mississippi, and I'm also seeing that you guys with the crypto crew, you've got a lot of reports from Mississippi. I would have to look and see on my map or something, but I've took so many reports in over the last 4 or 5 years. It's just unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I just did a Google search, and I'm posting of mine that I found over there. I'm about to post it right now over in my group. I'm going to tag you in it, of course, Thomas. And but when I did the Google search, I mean, it brought up just recordings and howls and other things in Mississippi from you guys. And I mean, I know what's here in Mississippi. You, of course, know as well. But a lot of people don't think, they just don't realize. And people who come visit me, they're like, "Oh my God, I did not realize there was this much woods in Mississippi."
Right.
Because a lot of people think Jackson, and there are some nice sized cities, but they're very far apart. Everything is very far apart, and it's just a ton of woods, and I love it here. I mean, it's just so awesome, and that's why I tell everybody, "Hey man, come on down. You're welcome to," and that goes for you too, Thomas. I mean, you're only two states away.
I don't get out a whole lot. I got a few trips planned for this year, if everything goes okay. So I hope to be out some, in other areas. Of course, I'm going to work in my area, my general area, but I hope to make a couple trips as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're ever just passing through, give me a holler, let me know, and we'll do our best to get together and get out there. What I want to ask you, because you get a ton of reports all the time from all over.
Sure.
What are some of the, if you could share with us, some of the most interesting ones that you can remember?
Well, I talked to a person who is he's kin to me. I don't want to go in detail exactly how close of a kin he is to me or whatever. He don't really use the internet or anything like that. And this happened last summer. He was out ginsening, which is something we commonly do around here. And and as he was walking along, he found a four-fork. And he said, "Thank you, Lord," or something like that, because he found a, big four-fork. Well, about the time he said that, a big rock goes whizzing by his head. And he looks up, and there is a female Bigfoot and a younger, probably, I'll say, what would be equivalent to maybe a teenage Bigfoot there.
Right.
And he's looking right at him. And, I've known him, basically my whole life. And he said before he actually seen him, and before the rock went through his head, by his head, he had heard what he thought. He said it sounded like Russian, like people talking in Russian. But he, just kept on ginseng. Didn't think nothing about it. That's just kind of how we are around here. And but that to me that was real good evidence because I know the person. I don't know of him that would fabricate some story about two Bigfoot female and a young Bigfoot. And,
I know exactly what you're.
Area.
I know exactly what you're referring to when you say it sounds like Russian or foreign language, because I too and my girlfriend's daughter have heard that before.
I have also.
Coming in the middle of the woods, coming out of a ravine, it sounds like arguing. That's the tone that it has. It sounds like, I mean, no words were discernible, but the tone was like two people arguing.
Well,
you know, and
when I had heard it,
I mean, that was mine.
I was alone, and I was investigating a sighting, and I heard something talking in the woods. But to me, it was just far enough out of my earshot that I couldn't make out any words. But I could clearly hear, the voice. But
that's right.
It's kind of weird. I don't know if you've been researching this long and you've had any experiences. You won't be using the word if Sasquatch exists, if Bigfoot exists, because you know. And that's. But you got to be out there and have that experience. And I appreciate people who do get out and research. But once you actually have an encounter, or even more than one encounter, the if will be gone.
Well, it's like I tell people all the time. It's like, you know what? One day, we may be able to officially approve the existence of the existence of Sasquatch, but you can never unprove the existence of it to me, because I know what I've seen, I know what I experienced. In other words, we might be able to prove one day to the whole world, hey, these are real, but you can't prove to me that they're not real, because I know what I've seen, I know what I've experienced, I know what I've heard. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They can never prove it's not real.
Well, that's me. I'm sure some people say, well, I don't believe in it. I don't believe this guy or that guy. But, it don't matter. It don't change what I've found, what I've documented, what I've heard, what I've seen.
That's right.
None of that changes just because you don't believe it.
That's right. And the thing about doing what we do, we go out there. I know myself. I go out there. I'm not specifically out there looking for Sasquatch, looking for Bigfoot. If it happens, it happens. It's more of, I'm out there enjoying myself, enjoying being out in the wilderness, getting that therapy, getting that peace and quiet, and hoping that maybe tonight I'll have a Sasquatch encounter. If not, I'm still enjoying myself.
Right.
But I believe that if you look too hard, you're not going to be able to see it.
Well, I know it's easy to overlook signs. A lot of people want to discredit, stick structures and broken limbs and things like that. But if it's in an area where there's been a recent Bigfoot sighting, and you find tracks and you find breaks and things like that, it's a pretty plausible conclusion of what did it.
There's some significance. Again, I believe that there is some correlation between those and Sasquatch, and I'll explain why here in a second. But I still can't put a 100% guaranteed stamp on it because I didn't see it happening. And that, I'm not saying not to take it into consideration, because you have to take everything into consideration. I'll put it out there. Well, there was a Sasquatch incident in the area, and then we found this, so it is interesting. But as far as like saying 100% a Sasquatch did this, no, because I didn't see it do it. If that, you know what I'm saying, Thomas?
Yeah, I understand people that see it that way.
But see, I do know that I was out there. I was out there one night walking, and I set my recorder out, and I came back. And the next morning when I went to get my recorder, and I don't think I've ever talked about this, but the next morning when I went to get my recorder, there was a tree structure very near to where my recorder was. That happened overnight, literally overnight. So I know
similar experience with that.
Yeah, I know without a shadow of doubt that it was 90% a Sasquatch, but you know, I could take a picture of it all day long, and you're always going to get some jerk off. Oh, you did that, or your buddy did that, or oh, the wind did that. You know, ultimately, unless they're there with us, you know, you can argue with them all day long. You know.
Well, see, now that goes back to creating doubt. These people post up these bogus photos and bogus stories and keep pushing known hoaxes and things like that. That creates doubt for people like me and you who are doing it honestly and sharing what we find. It makes people doubt us.
Oh, you and I encountered one of them, just about a week ago or so? Yeah. And I believe that was his whole agenda, that particular person.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not even going to say his name. It's not even worth saying. But
no.
Yeah.
The dishonest people hurt the honest people, just like in anything in life. There's those who are kind of leeches, and they take advantage of the system, and it hurts people who really need the system. And it's kind of the same with research. The people who are posting these bogus photos and stories and keep pushing them, it hurts the honest researcher, the guy who's really trying, and the guy who's really sharing what he finds.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that has been said about me, and I'll let it be said all day long. I don't you know, argue with it or not, is keeping it real. I always keep it real. And I follow your stuff. I know you know that because I'll repost a lot of it. You have the same method of keeping it real. And that's what I was saying earlier, man. You'll throw me off because I'll see something and I'm like, oh man, Thomas, come on, I know that's bullshit. I know that's fake. What are you doing? And I'll go and look and I'll see that you're breaking it down to prove that it's bullshit too. And I'm like, all right, you got me. You do that all the time, man. You do that every time.
Well, I do appreciate your views.
You wrote me in every time because I'm thinking that I'm going to go there and see you praising this or you know, giving it credit or props or whatever, and I'm like, please don't let me see that, you know. And and I'm always glad that to be disappointed with what I originally thought you were doing.
Well, now you know, recently I did that with the Patterson video where somebody had thought they'd seen a baby in the picture.
That's the one I'm referring to.
Yeah,
well, that's one of the recent ones that I'm referring to.
Yeah, I got a few people with that hook, and who knows? They may be a baby somewhere in the film. It's just not that one right there. But somebody had good eyes to pick that out. Yeah, I
mean, if I remember right, wasn't it said that when they first came up on her, she was with a young one, or is that just
well, I've
internet?
heard that theory. I've heard that theory that she was leading them away from babies, and then I've also heard that they shot and killed a bunch of them, and I don't know about all that kind of stuff, but I know there's one walking across through there. No trouble seeing that.
I'll tell you what, leave it to MK Davis, and he'll find a damn T-Rex up in it. You know?
Well, MK does some very good work, and but I don't buy into the massacre theory thing, you know. But I think he does some good video work on slowing things down, zooming them in, and stuff like that. But it's easy to be fooled sometimes when you zoom in the video in and things.
Well, here's my thing. I think that when you look at something as just repeatedly like that, eventually you're gonna have Bigfoot on the brain. You know, you're gonna start seeing things there that aren't there, and you know, trying to pick it apart so much. I think that may be a little bit the case with MK. I mean, he lives a
couple hours from me, and I don't know. I just don't have much for them. So, but you did an excellent job yourself with the video that I sent to you. And,
well, I appreciate that. I need to update my software again, I guess, and get better. But when you're, you know, I don't flow with money or anything, so I just have to do it when I can.
Well, I understand that. But I'll tell you what, and I said it earlier, if I find anything, I'm getting with you, and you're going to, I mean, it's going to be the same. You're my guy. That's all I want to say. You're my guy as far as my video analysis. And unfortunately, the camcorder I had then was really crappy. Now I've got these HD military cameras. I'm gonna be having plenty of them, and everyone who goes out, I'm hoping to have one attached to them, both forward and aft, to catch behind and in front. And I really think it's going to pay off.
Well, I did upgrade my cameras back, I don't know, probably in 2014. I went to a much better, I went to a Canon M40, which is an HD camera. They're not very expensive, a few $100s, but it does very good video quality. The first camera I had, even though it was HD, the colors were kind of, you know, pale and not as bright, so I was glad to get that upgrade at least.
I know you've seen the pictures I've posted of this particular one. Also, it's a military camera. It's called Replay, and they use it. They'll put them on targets and to film, you know, the accuracy of them shooting the targets. And unfortunately, they have to use a new one for every time. So I have connections, and I'm getting the ones that aren't damaged, that they can't reuse. So they're awesome cameras. Did a little playing around with it. I took, funny story. Melissa, I couldn't get the camera to work. Melissa came over. She messed with it for about 5 minutes, got it working. Never told me how. So all she said was, it's easy. So I took the camera the other day, and I walked through my whole area thinking I have it working. I'm doing the documentary style. I'm doing a narrative. Walk all the way there, all the way back, get home, find out I didn't record any of it. So, you know, it's like, she's such a brat for not telling me, but God bless her, you know.
Well,
and now, needless to say, because I'm a guy. I don't like to read instructions and crap, you know. I figure play around with it enough, you can get it to work. Well, you know, after this incident, I come home and force myself to look at the instructions and force myself to learn it. So now I know how to work it.
Well, I've got one of the older, or one of the first run GoPro HD cameras.
Yes,
you know, and I've read the instructions so many times to learn how to get it to work. And one time I had it on pictures when I thought I had it on video. But the other day I was, well, it's not been the other day. It's been a little while. I was out in the mountains in one of my areas.
Oh, that's like.
And I had cut off.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought I'd cut off my camera, but so I just dropped it to my side and I'm walking along, and I didn't know I had it on until I got back home, and I've got a whole bunch of ground footage in my leg, and it's about make you drunk.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because when I got to the lake, I thought I was turning it off. I thought I was like you. I thought I was turning the recorder off, and I get home. And the only video I got is like 3 videos of my feet and me saying, I guess I got this damn thing off. I was recording. I was turning it on every time I thought I was turning it off. So at that point I realized, you know, when I got home and looked at that, I realized, well, I was doing something right. Now I just got to figure out what it was I was doing. But, yeah, I mean, you know, so many times, and you and I both know, so many times, and for example, last night with Les Stroud, on his show, it brought it up. Now, I've told Les Stroud before that wood knocking doesn't work, but, you know, he still does it. But anyway, he had something happen when he wasn't recording. And that happened with me and Melissa when the roar happened. We weren't prepared for that. We didn't have our audio going, and I wish we did. Oh, my God. But, you know, it's kind of a jinx on us researchers that when we're not recording, when we're not prepared, when we're not expecting it, that's when things happen. It's like a curse, if you will.
Well,
and
like I was telling you about earlier, that where I heard that one talk, I had just had cut off the video. I just cut the camera off, and then I hear this talking, and of course, you know, I try to cut the camera back on, but by then it's too late.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I'll never make that mistake again. Anytime I leave my home, heading out there to the woods, I turn my audio on every time, because like you said, the thing about Sasquatch is, if you wait to hear something, or if you wait to see something, and then put your camera on, or then turn your audio on, you might as well hang it up. You'll never get it. It's too late. It's done.
Yeah, it's already gone.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize that. They're like, well, how come we don't have any pictures? You know, how many people actually walk up through the woods holding the camera up to their face? Yeah, that's one part of the reason there. Secondly, think of Sasquatch. If they're out in the woods, surely by now they have observed hunters. The first thing a hunter does when he kills something is he'll pick a rifle up and put it to his face, put it to his eye. Now, think about this. That's the same movement we do with a camera. They don't know, hey, that's just a camera. You know, all they know is when a human puts something up to his eye, something's going to die. You know? I mean, it's speculation, of course, but...
Well, if you live in an area like where I live, we have a lot of snakes, of course, and we have quite a few bear. But the terrain itself is, you got to watch where you're going. You could fall off a high wall. You could step in a mountain slip and, you know, break a leg or something, and here you are 5 miles back in the middle of nowhere.
Case in point, my video that you did. The bear is
going to be real happy. You know, the bear is going to be real happy, but people's not going to.
Perfect example is my video that you enhanced. I mean, you can see the green lushness of that. That was filmed July, what was it, Thomas? 17th, I believe? Yeah, July 17th. That area, Copperhead Central. In the summertime, Copperhead Central. That whole area.
Well, now right here where I live, we killed a big rattlesnake right here in my driveway. And then right here next door, my dad killed 4 snakes in 20 minutes, which was 4 copperheads, and he found a rattlesnake that got away. And that's all within rock throwing distance of my house. So we have to be extremely careful. I've yet to see a snake in my yard here. Of course, I keep my grass very, very short, and I've got cats, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I've yet to see a snake here in my yard. Across the highway, going into the wildlife refuge, that whole road in the evening, as the sun's going down, Copperhead Central, and Cottonmouths. I've yet to see a rattlesnake since I've been here. But Copperheads, Cottonmouths, yeah, everywhere. Now we have a lot of the little brown ground snakes. I have a lot of those in my yard. My dog fishes them out of the grass a lot.
Yeah. I've yet to see. I've seen one in my driveway close to the highway, but that was a rat snake. But here in the yard, I've never seen a single snake in this yard, and I've been here 8 years. So I guess I'm fortunate for that.
And we have them regularly in our yard or in our driveways, but in the areas I go into, the areas I go into, I mean, a lot of times they're real rocky, and so I have to be careful because most of the time I go by myself, And cell phones are useless here where we live at because of the mountains, but I don't have one anyways. So I do have to use caution.
Oh yeah, especially in the rocky terrain, because we know that they like to get up under there. And the thing about my area during the heat, and I try to tell people all the time, during the harshest heat of the day in the summer, you generally don't see snakes. It's as the sun is going down, whenever it's ideal time for you to walk, to like exercise or whatever, that's when they come out. So you have to be extra careful in the evenings and in the early mornings, here in my area at least.
Well, that's kind of the way it is here. I mean, they'll get in the morning, they may get in the sunlight, but as the sun gets hotter during the day, they'll get out of it.
Yeah. That's why, it's hot as hell, but I'll walk it, like the video that I captured, that was in the heat of the day, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll walk the road because I know that I don't have to worry about snakes being on the road at that time. But I've been trapped back there before after dark and walking out, and guy passes and he stops and backs up. It's like, hey, there's a big copperhead up there in the road. What do you want me to do? I'm like, you're in a vehicle. Run over it. He's like, I can do that. Just inbred idiot or whatever. So he goes up there and starts running over it, and at that point, my girlfriend was coming to pick me up, and it's probably a good thing, looking back, hindsight, it's probably a good thing that he passed when he did, because where that snake was right where my girlfriend would have stopped, and I would have never saw the snake because her headlights would have blinded me, and I would have probably walked right on top of the damn thing. So, I guess it happened for a reason. Even though copperheads don't put out a lot of venom, they're not quite as poisonous as, say, a cottonmouth or a rattlesnake. It's still something I don't want to have to deal with.
Well, that's me. I've seen people who have been bit with them, and I've seen them lose fingers and, fall plumb off to the bone, the meat fall right off the bone. So I don't want to experience that.
Oh, yeah. And believe me, I love all my digits. I don't plan on losing any of them.
Well, that's me, too. I want to keep my fingers and toes if possible.
Yeah, no doubt. But Thomas, man, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna have to wrap it up early. Something came up, but I really do appreciate you coming back on. I gotta get you back on.
Okay.
And like I said, man,
one thing I'd like to share, if I can.
Yeah, go for it.
I recently did a video, and you can find it on my YouTube, that I basically just set up a camera and interviewed myself and told of my first encounter with a Bigfoot, which I didn't find out 2 years later what it really was. And I was about 15 and a half years old. And I'd like to invite people to go check that out because it's a 100% true story, and it was terrifying.
Yeah, how can they find it? I mean, I'll post it in the group. How can we find it?
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll
you can post it in the group if you want.
Okay, well, I can do that.
Yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead and post it in the group. That's not a problem.
Let me see if I can, whoops. But this is something happened one night while me and my dad was coon hunting when I was just a teenager. Okay. And I remember it well. It's one of those things that it sticks out in your mind,
I look forward to watching it and listening to it and hearing it and seeing what it is.
It's only about 14 minutes long. Let's see here. Oh yeah, there's the one. Okay, here we go. I'm going to post it in your group, your public group.
Yeah.
And it's just called My First Bigfoot Encounter. And that'll kind of maybe let people know my first initial brush with Bigfoot and how terrifying it was.
I'm definitely going to check it out once we get off air. And like I said, man, have no fear. If I get anything, I'm contacting you. If I think I have anything, I'm contacting you because I know that you're going to do me right, and you're not going to put out something that isn't there. I know you're going to look at it as realistically as possible, and I appreciate that.
I always try to. I always try to be. I think you ought to be a researcher ought to be somewhat skeptical in his research, and then what you have left over.
Well, we have to be. I mean, that's what people don't understand. Even you and myself and a few others who go out there, we have to be skeptical. Otherwise, we're going to be like these idiots thinking everything is a Sasquatch.
Right.
So we are skeptics. We know they're real, but we still have to be skeptical. Otherwise, our results are going to be biased to where everything that moves in the woods, every noise in the woods is a Sasquatch, and that is just total ludicrosy.
Right. I do have an actual game cam picture of a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
post
share
it.
I'm gonna share it coming up and probably over the next few weeks.
It's funny you mention that because I just got a game cam and I'm trying to figure it out. So I might get. I'm still trying to figure out how to operate it.
Well, that's me. What I did to test mine out, I set it outside my house, and I would check it at the end of the day to see how the picture quality was, and then I'd change the settings and I'd set it back out for the next day. That's how I kind of did mine to get it to where I wanted it. But I plan on sharing this picture of a Bigfoot that was caught on game cam. I know a lot of people say, well, you can't catch him on game cam, but you can because I have one. And I plan on sharing
I want to see this
over the next few weeks.
Please do.
But I've kept it since 2013. I did show it in that first little documentary that I did, but I've never presented it in this format with actual picture. The time and date is wrong, but I'm going to go back and find the actual time and date so I kind of know. But 100%.
Yeah, I want to see it. I mean, I'd love to see it.
So I hope to share that in the next few weeks, hopefully.
Definitely do. Don't hesitate to post it over in our group. And for you new listeners, the group is Onyx Knights Paranormal on Facebook. Look us up, join it. Thomas is with the Crypto Crew. And Thomas, you guys got a Facebook page, right?
Yeah, we're facebook.com/The Crypto Crew, or you can find us on the internet at thecryptocrew.com.
Yeah, always good stuff there. I mean, unlike some of these other crypto sites that are run by egotistical fanatics, the Crypto Crew is one of the ones that I prefer. Again, Thomas handled my video and did very well with it, and I've never had any issues with you guys. Whereas there's another one, Crypto Mundo or whatever. I try to stay away from that one. But I really like what you guys got going on with the Crypto Crew, and the way you guys approach and handle things is on a very realistic level.
Well, we try to be, like I said, try to be skeptical and be honest with what we find. If you tell one lie, you got to back it up with another one at some point. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and I'm finding that there's a lot of people that are going down that road, and it like you said earlier, snowball effect is eventually building up to where they can't control it anymore. And
eventually the wheels do fall off if you're fabricating and posting bogus stuff. Eventually the wheels will fall off, and there you'll be.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it's like me, man. You and I have been friends for a while.
a lot of people are like, well, why you don't post more pictures? Because I'm not going to post some bullcrap picture of a stump or a tree. You know, if I can't get a clear, definitive picture of a Sasquatch where someone can look at it and say, that's a Sasquatch, there's no doubt in my mind. If I can't get that, you know, or like the video where you can tell there's something in there and there's something moving. If I can't get that, then I'm not going to post it. You know, because if I can't get that, then I need a new hobby, because obviously this one isn't working for me.
Well, I enjoy being outside and, you know, in the mountains, but I'm not going to post the pictures of stumps and shadows and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll post, if I do post pictures of my area or trees or whatever, I'm just posting it to show people the area. You know, I'm not going to say, oh, look, there's a Bigfoot back there. You see that dark spot that's really a rock? Yeah.
Now, I do that. I will post video or pictures of my area, and people can see clearly I'm not on any trails or anything like that. I'm in the middle of the mountains. Sometimes I'll find an old logging road or something like that to be on, but and I'm not nothing against researching in state parks and things like that. But this one area I'm in where there's been activity for the last couple of years, it's in the middle of nowhere. One day I hiked a total of 15 miles, and about 90% of that was straight up a mountain. And I'm a kind of a big guy, and that's pretty hard on a big guy.
Oh yeah, I did. I'm with you. You know, I'm not trying to make anything about me, but you know what I've done. You see the posts. You know, I'm with you. I completely understand what you're talking about. And I'm just here in the foothills, whereas you're over there in the mountains, and I just couldn't imagine. You know, I mean, I'm sure I could do it. You know, build up to it, but I couldn't imagine just going out there green and being able to keep up.
Well, I have to take my time because, like I say, I'm a pretty good-sized guy, and if I was to krill an ankle, break a leg, I had some telling how long I would be there before anybody even came looking.
Oh, especially if you don't have a cell phone or anything.
And I don't own a cell phone, but even up here with the mountains, you really get a signal. So.
Oh man.
That's pretty rough. I've told my family before, if something was to happen to me and they find me, get the SD cards out of my video camera or something on them.
To figure out what went down. I'll tell you what, man, that's definitely roughing it, you know.
Whether it was a bear or whatever, I'm going to try to film it while it eats me.
Oh, man. Yeah, I hear you, but, you know, heaven forbid that happens. You just got to, you know, be careful, man. Look out for yourself and take care of yourself. Because I definitely don't want to be reading about that.
Me neither.
But we got 7 minutes left on air, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thomas, I appreciate you coming on, man. I definitely going to have to get you back on. Anytime you get anything, you know, really interesting, you're more than welcome to hit me up, and I'll get you back on here without a problem.
Well, I sure do appreciate you having me on.
No problem. I know it was short notice, and I appreciate you agreeing to come on. That means a lot.
Well, I had some extra
like
time,
I said,
so I know you.
Well, like I said,
I didn't have time, so.
Anything goes on here, if I capture anything, you're going to be. I'm going to run it through you, man. You're going to be my analyst, you know, and I hope you're cool with that. But you know, you've done me good in the past, and I trust you fully. So yeah. And I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem collaborating with you guys and sharing, because, you know, I look at like we're all in the same boat, you know, trying to find the answers and trying to reach the shore. So if it helps you guys also, then hey, what the hell, you know.
Yeah, I'd rather work together than try to fight all the time.
That's right, you know. It's like I was talking with Bill earlier, you know, that
working together, we're able to cast a much larger net. Whereas you might have some information there that I don't have here, but that could help me here. You know what I'm saying? We're able to.
Right.
It just makes more sense to me than having all the egos and, oh, well, this is my team and I don't need no help and blah 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 blah. It's, come on, man. You know, it's ridiculous the amount of bull that goes on. But again, I thank you very much. It means a lot to me. Thank you for coming on, and I'll definitely be in touch here in the near future, and hopefully with something. And man, don't forget to post your game cam image, because I am really super interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I plan on doing a little write-up on it over the next, hopefully the next 2 or 3 weeks. No bad luck.
Yeah, and as soon as I get off air, I'm going to check out the YouTube video that you posted as well. And
okay, well, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Oh, man, not a problem. Anytime, just let me know. And like I said, if you ever get down this way, I'm going to send you a text. I've got your number, but I'm going to text you. That way you know you have my number. And if you ever get down this way, give me a call.
All right,
and
same deal.
We'll get together.
Up in Kentucky, man. If you get up
in
Kentucky,
yeah, because Buck Lowe, he's up there, Trapper's up there. They all want me to come up there, so I'm sure I'll eventually get up there.
Well, if you're by this way, look me up.
I definitely will, man, without a doubt. And once again, thank you for coming on, and take care and have a good night, and stay in touch, man, seriously.
All right, man.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the show. I appreciate everyone who's listened. I know it was kind of versified tonight, but it was interesting. I think it was interesting. I love talking to numerous people when I can, and what I also love is the fact that we're all separated by states and by miles and miles, but yet we all have the similarities and the one thing in common when it comes to this type of research, this type of Sasquatch cryptid research. We all have that in common and similarities, and it's good when you can find people who approach it the same way you do, with the realism and the common sense. You know, not just flying off the wall, a Bigfoot disappeared into a tree, all that stupid crap. But when you find those individuals, hold on to them, and because those are the individuals that are going to help you the most accomplish what you need to accomplish. I mentioned Les Stroud's show last night. There was a few things on it that were interesting. There was a few things that I didn't agree with, and I thought it was just to put it on the show, done just to put it on the show. But I won't go into all that right now. We'll probably talk about that. I'm hoping to get Les back on here with me eventually. Yeah, I got to work through those channels. But anyway, I don't think I'm going to have a show next week, because Wednesday I have to have my gallbladder removed. And I seriously don't know if I'm going to be feeling up to it. So I'd rather say I'm not going to have a show than say yeah and then not be here. So as of right now, let's bank on me not having a show next week, unless I post Thursday that I'm going to have a show. If I'm feeling good and I post Thursday I'm going to have a show, then I'm going to be on the air. But as of right now, I probably won't be on the air unless something changes between now and then. But I'm going to be back in 2 weeks. I don't know who my guest is going to be. I'm trying to get Chad Lindbergh and John from Ghost Stalkers. I'm trying to get those guys back on. I sent a message out. Haven't gotten any response yet, but I just sent a message earlier tonight. So I'm hoping to get those guys back on. And I want to touch base with my buddy Chris and his team, because Chris just got back from Trans-Allegheny ghost hunting up there, and I want to try to get someone. Chris works Thursday nights, but I want to get maybe Mark back on, and see if he can tell us a little bit about what happened. But anyway, that's enough of that. You guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll be back. I'll be in touch. Thank you guys. Have a great night.